Hi everyone, and welcome back to Planting for Wildlife. Before we moved into this house, about 18 months ago, I'd already grown a lot of different plants from seed, ready to be planted out into the yet to be created flower beds. And of all the different varieties I planted, the one I was most looking forward to having for the first time in my own garden was Echinops Ritro, aka globe thistles, and specifically a variety called, and you have to excuse the pronunciation here, Vikes Blue. A full growing season later, and I'm so happy with how they've performed in the new sleeper bed I built at the top of the garden. They've really added to the colour palette of the garden too, with their vibrant blue hues. Echinops Ritro are bushy perennial thistles native to southern and eastern Europe and western Asia. They grow up to 120 centimetres tall and have broad, prickly leaves and stems carrying steel blue flowers around an inch in diameter. They like poor quality, free draining soil. I used a lot of sharp sand in the bed you see behind me. And like most of the plants I feature on my channel, are very drought tolerant. The reason why I wanted to grow these so badly is for the stunning colour and architectural quality of the spherical heads. A bit like an allium for the summertime. After having them in the garden for the first season though, what's really stood out is how long the plant holds interest throughout the year as it transitions through the different phases. Things kick off from early summer with smaller, perfectly formed, steel grey coloured spheres. Then, a few weeks later, each sphere opens with an explosion of tiny blue flowers that really pop. This is one of the most intense blue colours you can have in your garden, except perhaps some salvias and iris. Each plant has one main stem with up to 4 side shoots, with each carrying between 4 and 10 flowers, so they really do produce a good number of blooms. To be honest, I probably planted mine a little bit densely, so I think I'll thin them out next year. From a wildlife perspective, once in flower, these plants absolutely hum with bees, and above all else, this is what gives me the most enjoyment in my garden. The seed heads will also provide a nice snack for smaller birds, so as ever, leave the seed heads on the plant until the following spring when they can be cut right back to the base. This will also provide interest and habitat for wildlife throughout the autumn and winter. And on that subject, these plants are hardy down to -10 centigrade. I've grown all of my Echinops from seed, which was a little bit hit and miss depending on the batch. In the end though, I did end up with a good amount of plants. Once matured, you can also divide these plants in either spring or autumn, making sure each division has its own root system and several shoots. For companion plants, I think plants with a more vertical, spiky form work really well with the spheres of the Echinops. And in my garden, I've paired the Echinops with Veronicastrum album, which is another bee magnet of a plant. Throwing Echinacea pallida into the mix works really nicely too, with the softer pink petals combining nicely with the blue of the Echinops. The good thing with blue is that it combines with both pink and yellow really nicely, so really the world is your oyster in choosing a companion plant. I particularly love the yellow varieties of English Roses by David Austin, so that's definitely a plant I'll be combining with Echinops sometime in the future. Thanks everyone for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop it a like and subscribe. And if you haven't seen my Instagram page, it's mjdearman_photography. Until next time, enjoy the wildlife in your garden.